You guys all set? Good evening. I'll bring the Lisbon Town Council meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Good evening and thank you. Start off with the first item, please.
We'll start off with roll call. Council Garrison.
Present.
Council Lunt.
Here.
Council McTevier.
Here.
Council Bickford.
Here.
Council Crafts.
Here.
Council Pesky.
Here.
Council Brunel.
Here.
And the next item, please.
Good news and recognition. The Lisbon Alternative Education Program.
Tracy?
Let's do it this way. Good evening. I'm going to introduce the Lisbon High School Alternative Education Program. I was visited by their instructor, Andy Dupre, wanting to do a project. The kids wanted to get involved with the town and do some community activities. It's going to be a great collaboration between the Economic Development Department, the Parks Department, as well as the Alternative Ed program. Andy?
Yes, hello. I'm Andy Dupre, and I should point out this is not the entire alternative program. These are the two students who are kind of piloting this project. And actually, I'm going to turn over almost the entire presentation to them. I'll just preface it by saying that we've been trying to get a little more hands-on in our scientific study. There's the next-gen science standards that have been developed and being implemented. There's a real emphasis on exploration and using the scientific method and less on straight memorization. And these two young men took it upon themselves to start investigating the possibility of doing a project, which I'll let them tell you about. I'm just going to hand out a few fact sheets for you to look at as well. So, Hunter?
Good evening. I'm Hunter Williams, and this is Ian Arsenault. We've been working on an applied ecology project, a part of our studies at Garden Street program. Lisbon Alternative Education setting. As part of our study, we started looking for invasive plant species along the Androscoggin and Paper Mill walking paths. Tonight we'd like to share our intentional findings. Ian?
Hello. First, let me tell you a little bit about invasive species. Invasive species are bad because they grow and reproduce much faster than native species. Invasive plants outcompete native species because resources such as sunlight and space. Many invasives will kill the surrounding plants by blocking their light, creating root systems that are too thick for other plants to grow or other means. Invasive plants can be spread to Maine by hitching rides on animals, people, boats, or trucks. Many have also been brought into Maine for use as ornamental shrubs. In addition, birds often eat the berries of many invasive plants and transport the seeds to a new location. Why are they bad? Invasive plants disrupt natural communities by reducing the diversity of the plant. Invasive plants can make it difficult or impossible for other native plants to grow. That can affect food sources for native animals. Some of these plants can form impenetrable mats which decrease the absorption of runoff after a storm. Barberry, a common invasive, attracts deer and is a great habitat for ticks because it's thick brush and provides shade and blocks wind. Deer ticks are susceptible to drying out in sun and wind. These deer ticks are the ones that spread Lyme disease. Finally, the walking paths are a major recreation opportunity and may draw people to Lisbon. Because some of these invasive plants, such as bittersweet, grow so thick, they may block views and access to the river. All right, Hunter.
In 3 short visits to the trails, we think we found a number of invasive species plants. Andy has a couple of things for you. Common berry, Japanese knotweed, common buckthorn, crown vetch, and Oriental bittersweet. The resources we used was the Gulf of Maine Research Institute of the Maine Cooperative Extension Service to identify the plants. We examined berries, barks, leaf patterns to identify these species. We plan on going back to confirm the spring to confirm these identifications when we have many of these plants flowering. What do you do about invasive species plants? The sooner these plants are identified, the easier it is to get rid of them. Some of them can be removed manually, and others may require chemical treatment. We hope that the Garden Street program may help the town monitor these trails for invasive plants so that the town has information needed to the decisions about what to do. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Thank you very much. I'll open up to the council. Do you have any comments or questions for them?
This is stuff that you found on the walking trails?
Yep.
On all these plants?
Yep.
How long did the project take you?
We actually just started searching for it, but in the spring, because there's no flowers in the plants anymore, so in the spring we're going to follow through with it and see what we can find.
Very good. How many of you are in the program that are working on this?
For right now, it's just me and Ian, but I'd like to get more kids doing it because it's such a big area and there's so many things we can find.
How many other students do you have to work with?
What do you have right now?
Total of 24 students in alternative ed between 2 sessions plus some will come after school.
Thank you.
Probably about 12 that we would try to get involved.
Oh, great. Any other comments or questions from council? Very good. Thank you very much, and I appreciate all the hard work.
Thank you, guys.
Give them just a few minutes to gather out if they want to.
They've got school to attend to.
All right. If anybody from the hallway wants to come in, we'll take pause here for a second. I'll open up to the council for any other good news or recognition you might have to share. See none, move on to the next item, please.
Would be, there are no public hearings. Audience participation and response for agenda items.
Okay, I'll open the floor for audience participation regarding agenda items this evening. Vern?
Not going to work, Twyla? Okay. Thank you. Fern LaRochelle, Lisbon Falls, Main Street, and thank you for the chair and council for the opportunity to speak. Tonight, I'm actually here to actually voice my concerns about the dispatch consolidation, and I know I've been following along, not able to come to a lot of meetings on the TV. It does actually play a good opportunity for people to catch up the recorded meetings. Just a little history. When I came on council, some of the first couple meetings I went to was actually consolidation discussions as far as Androscoggin County and with Lawson, Auburn, and Lisbon. Through my tenure actually on the council, there was many discussions and many different opportunities where the same discussion was put forward, the idea of does Lisbon consolidate or does Lisbon stand alone. It's been kind of concerning to me a little bit watching the proceedings, this idea of this coming around again, which it needs to. It always does. You always need to look at opportunities and see if there's actually cost savings and practicalities. But one of the things I had seen at the times that we had gone through, whether it was the meetings here or at the school venue, or actually going to the Auburn to meet with the sheriff or the people that actually play a role in the county dispatch, was the idea that this was a very big, how would I say it, situation that had many different avenues that could go down and many different entities it touched. And no matter where you went with the program, it always ended up coming back to the idea that we had a lot more to lose than gain by actually leaving town and losing the control of our dispatch. Speaking as a taxpayer, as a citizen, and actually someone that actually, through my business, works with the dispatch, not on the daily, but typically on a regular basis with doing records through the dispatch for accidents and other calls. Watching things that happen has been kind of concerning because it seems like it's been moving quite quickly for our dispatch and also consolidation. First of all, I just want to say that Lisbon over all the years, no matter when we've been doing this, has never looked at as a second-rate dispatch. I mean, we were the benchmark for dispatch in the areas. People looked at us as a dispatch that they would want to be like. And every time we went into one of the meetings, it wasn't the idea we were looked at as someone that needed to catch up. We were looked at as someone needs to catch up to us, and I think we still are there today. I mean, we have, actually, first-class dispatch and first responders and emergency services, and I think we need to continue that. With that being said, I think you really need to look at all the entities that actually comes from a dispatch. Roger's my neighbor, and I can't come to all the meetings, so I always try to catch up with Roger as far as the dispatch. And I said, one of the things we really need to do as we move forward is make sure that everybody's involved actually has an opportunity to voice their concerns. The citizens, the first responders, because what we found in our history in the past is the idea there's a lot of people that actually dispatch touches. Whether it's not the police, the fire, the ambulance seems like the easy ones, but it's actually the other opportunities where the dispatch monitors our school buses and our schools to make sure things aren't going well that way, and actually public works. And if anybody has a scanner and they listen to a comm center, it's a pretty active place. The other thing that we have is we actually have a dispatch that actually people can walk up during the day and actually ask questions and meet with an officer and actually have someone that greets them that actually can help. And I'm not sure if many of you that grew up in town actually know what the best emergency number is in town, and it's not 911. It's 353-2500. I was always brought up, if you have an emergency, you dial 353-2500 because you don't need to explain where they need to go. You just tell them who you are, where you live, and they will be there. And I think that still stands true today. Some of the things that actually go away when you lose a dispatch is that local control, that local communication, a touch with your local people. As of today, I guarantee that 353-2500 number rings all day long, whether it's a stray dog in a driveway or someone's cat out and they think there's something going to get, someone getting hurt, or someone's parked out front, they don't know who it is, and they don't want to call 911 because dial 911 is usually for extreme emergencies. We've always had that opportunity to have that level of service where you can call and have someone respond without actually, if you don't have a dispatch and it's not really a really drastic emergency, where do you go? If you actually have a water main break out front of your house, do you actually call 911? Do you call Gray? Do you call Auburn? Who do you call? Right now we have a local service that odds are they probably know where the typical breaks are. They probably could actually put someone there pretty quickly. So I'm very concerned that things are moving pretty quickly. I talked to Roger quite some time ago, and I said, this is all due process. Things that you do is typically take all the information, reach out to all the parties this is going to affect, do some workshops, do some studies, get some information, do cost analysis, get everything out on writing, and then you actually try to determine if this is the best approach. And at some point it may be. I know over the last 5 or 6 years we've actually invested a lot of money in this town into our dispatch to be who we are. Matter of fact, this last round of dispatch concerns, the communities around us actually felt Lisbon was so strong of a dispatch and actually had a handle on dispatch so much they chose to come with us instead of the county. That speaks volumes, and we were actually at that point in time as a town proud to actually be a leader, not a follower. And I think as of today, I think we need to still keep that approach. Is it in the future practical for us to consolidate with county? If county steps up to the notch we are, I think we'll join with them. But I would not want to actually join with somebody that I don't think is actually an equal to us, because I don't think they are at this point in time. And again, that's my opinion, but there's actually, folks that probably in this room that could actually speak to that better than myself. So I guess I'd ask a couple of different things of the council if I could. One is if you are considering the idea of future consolidation of a dispatch, And number one, you actually, get the people that it actually really touches in this town and get them together and speak to them and actually get the concerns of how it would affect this town. Secondly, hold some public hearings so the general public can actually come in and voice a concern. And then lastly, if it's actually that good of a savings and it's that good of a deal, put it out to the voters, the people to vote on. Get the people of the town to actually, if you're going to change something that's been like this in town for, 20, 30 years or even longer, put it out to the people and let them voice their approval or disapproval. And if you listen to the voters, I guess that'd be the way to go. Again, there's many people in this room. I mean, it's interesting because after Roger mentioned this maybe coming to a vote tonight, I reached out to some of the people that I know we talked to when we were looking at the dispatch and said, how is this going to affect you? And unfortunately, most of the people really didn't know because they were never asked. They were never approached or never brought into a conversation of how the dispatch would affect them, which I think needs to be done before you move forward. The first responders in the room, these are the people that deal with dispatch every day. I mean, these are the people who know how it works and what can be benefited by other areas and whatnot. These are the people you need to listen to. So, again, please, I just ask you to take it cautiously and get the information prior to making any decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I'm short and sweet. I won't be as long. Kathy Yergin, Lisbon Falls. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Lisbon School Department. I'm part of the safety committee, which meets every month with the fire department, the police department, the EMS, the great bunch of people that are here to support the children. I know that you're looking into the communication center and maybe doing away with it, but it is part of our buses. They are on the other end of our buses each day. I just want to make sure that you're speaking with all the stakeholders that are involved in this change if you do go about it. I only ask because our buses are connected, and when something happens, our students' safety is involved. We have had disgruntled parents trying to get on buses that the bus drivers had to keep away, and the police have been there, or cars passing school buses, kids are getting off on 196, which happens every day. Being on the safety committee, this has gone really fast, and I know working with Officer Picard, Officer Bernard, the detective, it hasn't been brought to us, so we didn't even know. We just heard about it from parents and people on the street. So I don't have an opinion. I'm just here to let you know that please make sure you speak to all the stakeholders in town. Make sure that every department, everybody, the school department, everybody knows what your decision is going to be because you are affecting a lot of people.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Alan Ward, Plummer Street. I'm going to mirror a lot of what Fern said, but I wrote mine down so I don't actually drift too far from the topic. Not to say that he did. He's a much better speaker than I am. Okay. What level of discussion has the town council had with each of the following about potential loss of service or impact on public safety? Police and fire chiefs, the police IT RCM specialist, public works director, Lisbon Emergency, EMS, school superintendent, and the water commission, to list a few. It is my understanding that the Lisbon Police Dispatch has the ability to monitor radio communication on buses and town units to quickly respond to an accident, threat, or a water main break. None of these were brought up at last Tuesday's workshop to know if all of Lisbon's potential loss of service will be part of the county sheriff's consolidation plan beyond police and fire dispatch. Are there more duties that our local dispatch performs that might not be considered to impact the other services the townspeople rely on, as well as the other towns we dispatch for? This is not just the Lisbon police budget discussion, it's an item worthy of more discussion. As a secondary concern, what level of discussion has the town council had with each of the following with regard to the connectivity issues and the presented potential cost savings? Again, police and fire chiefs, police, same list. There was a lot of discussion at last week's council workshop presented for the cost of the project given the loss of the $600,000 county grant, the potential impact on a grant that the town took, and potential future grant submissions from the town, and dark fiber not being an option for Lisbon's connectivity. Are there costs to the school, PW, and other water departments that we pay for as well that result from loss of Lisbon's dispatch were not considered in the potential savings? Further, do these savings include the impact of the police's budget for the IT RCM specialist position, loss of staffing for the department, and retaining Lisbon's dispatch center as a backup for the county. It was asked last Tuesday why the fate of the Lisbon's police dispatch center we built in the 70s was not getting more community or department input, if not directly decided on by the voters themselves. Are you, as the town council, comfortable that you've done your due diligence with all the people working knowledge of what impact consolidating will have on all the services of the town of Lisbon that we rely on? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Don.
I'm Don Fellows from the Lisbon side of things. I think this potentially could be a great idea, but I also think it could be a bad idea. And I think what's going on right now is that this whole process has proceeded so fast, and so fast from my standpoint because I'm part of the public, maybe not so fast from your standpoint. Anyway, I think we need to slow down a little bit. I'm not convinced that we have all the costs, and from the paper I saw tonight, it doesn't look like we do. And we don't have the tangible, we also don't have the intangible costs that have been mentioned before. In addition, the chief and the members of the PD have not been consulted or included in a discussion that I know of, not of any depth, nor have emergency services been involved. And mostly, members of the public have not been involved. No committees like the one for the fire range have been yet established, and no public hearing yet. I think that should be an essential item. Maybe you planned that. But more than that, I agree with Fern. I don't know if I thought of it first or he did, but I think it should be a public vote. If nothing else in this town is more important than public safety, then we need to have the voters' input on it, I believe. Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else? Lisa.
Thank you. I haven't been up here for a little while. I just stopped in today because in conversation with other members of the community, and I see that I'm joined here by former counselors and committee members and board members. I think I have to echo Mr. Fellows' sentiments and Mr. LaRochelle's suggestion of hearings, and I think it would be a good idea to put together a committee made up of those concerned people, those members of the community who are directly involved with emergency services and with the dispatch. Like Fern, I was part of some of the conversations on and off during my tenure on the council that had to do with dispatch. It's always a question that comes up, and it should, because it's something that costs a lot of money for the town, and it's a large portion of taxes. But I think that, that being said, the safety that we have in our town and the security that we have, because we have efficient and effective police, fire, and emergency services, which are due in great part to having a good dispatch system, that's attractive to new businesses. It's attractive to people who want to move to Lisbon. And I think it's a big part of why people would want to live here. So I think we need to look at each person who comes up and expresses their sentiments. I think each person adds something to that conversation. So I would urge you to consider doing something along the lines of hearings, a committee, further conversation and further consideration. Again, I'm not going to say it's the wrong thing or the right thing to consolidate dispatch, but I am going to say that I agree with folks who are speaking today that it really needs to be looked at a little bit more closely, and I hope you'll consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Anybody else? Mike.
Thank you. Mike Robitel, 17 Charity Street. I'd like to agree with what everybody's been saying here. I've been through this process. You like to compare Yarmouth Police with Lisbon Police. Well, I'm the Yarmouth Fire Chief. And in the town of Yarmouth, we went through this process. We went from Yarmouth having their own dispatch center to going to a regional center. That regional center, it took us 2 years, and that was just to combine with the town of Falmouth and the town of North Yarmouth, okay? It was 2 years just to make that simple move. So I really believe that we are rushing into this. I think that if we're going to the county, Sheriff Sampson sat here 2 months ago, Chief, 3 months ago, and said that his equipment was less than what we have currently dispatching our emergency services. What's that tell you? We voted to look into it based on a grant. We didn't get a grant. Our equipment is better. Our dispatch center is better than what they can offer us. So I really think that we have to look at that. I asked if the department heads are able to speak tonight and let us know what they think and what their feelings are. We haven't heard from them, and I'd like to hear from our department heads. They're a big part. We pay them to represent us, and I think we should do that. The other communities that we're obligated to, what's our contractual agreements with them? Lisbon Emergency, sorry, I'm working tonight. The town of Durham, the town of Greene, the town of Sabattis. I don't know if any of their representatives are in here tonight, but it would be nice to hear from them and how this is going to affect them also. Because it's not going to affect just the town of Lisbon, it's going to affect 5 other communities. And I think that we owe that to them. I really hope that you have listened tonight. I truly do. The idea of putting it out to a vote, let's put it out to a vote in November. We've talked about the November vote being a big vote. Put it out. Let's see what the people of Lisbon want. So I'm really concerned. I don't think there's a tremendous amount of cost savings. We're finding that out now. It's not a huge savings. I think maybe $100,000 right now. That's it. It's not a lot. It's not a lot when we talk about our dispatchers being able to provide us with the information that we need. They know the community. They know the community better than we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Tracy Austin, Lisbon. In listening to what I can hear out there, some of the comments about getting the stakeholders kind of all together to come together, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We do have a safety committee. I think there would have to be just a couple extra people that would be brought to the table, water department, sewer department, but there is already an existing committee that meets and talks about safety issues. So I don't think that you would have to go very far to find a committee of people who are involved and are stakeholders. So I would like to just offer that one is in existence, should have been consulted, but that's neither here nor there, but maybe moving forward could assist in providing information to the council.
Very good, thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Bowie.
Thank you. Michael Bowie, Lisbon Falls, 282 Main Street. Just a little background. I've been on the County Budget Committee for 12 years. I served on the Town Council for 12 years, and I think I've been part of every communications discussion meeting that there's been in those time periods. And we have yet to find any savings in any one of those adventures, whether it's Lewiston and Auburn taking over the activities, whether it's the county trying to take over the activities, right? The best thing we came up with was what we did here at Lisbon and brokered our environment to be better for the rest of the outlying communities than absorbing the cost of Lewiston and Auburn. There's a couple things we got to understand in all of this, besides everything that everybody else has said, which is 100% true, right? We still have to have our own software. We still have to have our own records management system. We still have to have all that connectivity that's been talked about, right? But we also still have to staff out front, right? Because we have to take care of public works. We have to take care of the schools, right? We haven't, I don't know if all those savings have been looked at, right? You're still going to have to put somebody out there for those people that walk in and have been walking in for the past 30 so years, right? So that's stuff that has to be looked at. I'm just not sure, as everybody has said, that this has been looked at in depth, because we've done it a number of times and we haven't found savings. I think I saw a piece of savings that said it's like $146,000 for us to go, and it's $350,000 worth of savings to the town, right? Well, that might be 1 year's savings, and I'm not sure you can get the county commissioners to agree to it, Because the other thing you got to think about here is based on your state evaluations, right? Lewis and Auburn are the biggest picker-ups of the county budget taxes. Lisbon's third or fourth, along with Poland. So when Eric Sampson comes in here as a sheriff and says he's going to add $250,000 to his budget, who's paying for that? Lewis and Auburn. Not Lisbon, not Leeds, not Turner, right? They are. So if you think Lewis and Auburn is going to take on additional costs for them, for us to be part of that, right? I think you guys need to really think through all of this, right? Because we've yet to been able to do that, right? We can't get through this, and the best that we've had is to be where we're at today, right? I mean, we need to be fiscally responsible as counselors and town managers, but fiscally responsible isn't always the cheapest way. Fiscally responsible, in my mind, is spending your money efficiently and effectively for the benefit of the community, which isn't always the cheapest way, right? It's providing the right services at the best and most efficient costs. And so I would just say that we're still going to have software costs, right? I don't know how many meetings we've had with the town heads, right, or whatever, for discussing this. It doesn't sound like many. I don't know if you've had a ton of meetings with them or not on this whole topic. I also don't know if you have anything in writing for what your costs are going to be from the county, right? The county says a lot of things, but when it comes time to do them, it's not exactly what they said. I served in that county budget and saw all of that happen. So if you don't have something in writing signed by the county commissioners, not by the sheriff, but by the county commissioners, that says this is what we're going to charge you, and I would beg you to get a 5-year cost projection. How's that going to go? Because your cost today for the one time could double the next time around. I don't know if anybody's been to the county and looked at their dispatch center, but it ain't nothing. There's a lot of building improvements that have to be made. There's a lot of new equipment that they need, right? They've upgraded a little bit here and there, but they're only doing what most communities do, which is a little bit just to get by. They're not positioning themselves to take over anything. So there's going to be additional costs coming down the road. They also have one of the worst communication repeater sessions to communicate through. We just invested a few years ago in a repeater to provide better communications here and for the people that we're now dispatching for. Are we just going to throw that away? I think you need to really think about this and not run quickly. Don't get me wrong, I'm a proponent of consolidation, but you got to consolidate appropriately. You have to invest in it. You have to do all your diligence and get all your facts so that you can be and stand up in front of these citizens and say, we did the right thing. We either saved you money or maybe it costs a little bit more, but you're going to get a much better service. Right? Those are the things you need to think about.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Ms. Paradise.
Hi, I'm Karen Paradise from Lisbon. Regarding the dispatch consolidation, because this is an issue that affects the safety of all Lisbon residents, not a few, but every resident, I strongly encourage the council to schedule a town meeting or at the very least a public hearing regarding this complicated matter. By sharing the information that you have acquired from professionals in this field and allowing for questions and concerns, you create educated opinions, even if they differ from yours. It is the town citizens' time and money at stake. If transparency is truly the goal of our town's officials, then open ears, open minds, and open doors is the only way to accomplish that. I ask you to respect your constituents, their time, their concerns, and their points of view.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Dr. Fitzgerald.
Dorothy Fitzgerald, School Street, Lisbon Falls. In another vein, the Lisbon Alternative Education Department, I want to commend those students and the program. Is that funded through the Lisbon School Department?
Yep.
And that's something that is publicly funded, taxpayers pay for, and that's something that is not offered, I'm sure, with private schools.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? Anyone in the other overflow room? Oh, Chief.
I'm just going to reiterate some of the things that were said here already by some of the people behind me. Your comm center has been a benchmark for that type of service for many years. I know I'm a rookie here. I've only been here 41 years, and Lisbon had dispatch before I came. So I don't even know when they began their own dispatch center, but I remember people like Al Dume used to do the wiring down there to make sure that the plectron and siren worked up at the Lisbon Fire Station. And of course, the red button was about this big. Everybody had to hit one to make it work, but it goes way back before my time. As far as the county used our fee structure. The county used our console specifications. And you folks are suing the county right now because you can't trust what the commissioners say and do. I'm not putting this together, I'm really not. I received this budget 2 hours ago. I've had a chance to fully digest it. But in a quick view, I think there's errors in here because of the, and I don't even remember who got up and spoke about it already, but that was accurate, that I don't see the move of the half wage position of the sergeant, who you all know is in half police budget, half communications budget, wages and benefits, et cetera. I don't see that deducted from here on this printout. I haven't seen anything from IMC. IMC is our records management company, for those of you to better understand this. I personally have not, as a department head of the Department Head of the Communications Unit, have not seen anything from IMC that says we're going to realize an $11,000 savings in our software. Prior to Lisbon becoming a regional communications center, our software costs were over $10,000 just as a standalone, just for us. So I have a big check mark beside that because I question what IMC is doing. Maybe they're going to give us a rate decrease. I don't know. With all that said, quick math. I had to see and throwing these people under the bus, I had to see the finance director this afternoon, and I went to see the tax assessor this afternoon to get some figures so I could understand how the mill rate works in Lisbon. It's not my job to be numbers conscious on mill rate. But what I did learn from them is that on the projected savings, minus the half sergeant's pay and benefits, you're looking at about $57 on a $200,000 valued home in savings. And that is yet to include what we're going to do, because there's been no discussion on how we're going to cover the comm center on day watch when this building is open and people come in. We surely aren't going to expect somebody to come into the town office and go over there and pick up a phone, call the county, and county call us back, and then we come. I don't believe that's what you really intend to do. But there's been no discussion on that. You're looking at a potential cost there in the $40,000 range to man that full-time for 40 hours a week, salary and benefits, which will further reduce this. So with all this said and done, you're looking at, I own a full-size pickup truck. And when my tank is empty, it costs me about 50 some odd dollars to fill it if it's on E. So in my case, the savings, you're looking at about a tank full of gas for someone who owns a full-size pickup truck a year to give total control away, take it away and give it to the county of which you're suing right now because you can't trust the county commissioners. So I'm at a total loss. I know I'm the department head. Oh, well, I've paid taxes in this town since 1980. So I think I have a right to say some things too.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
My name's Marty Campbell from Lisbon. I have nothing written down here, and I'm probably not as well-spoken as some of these people here. But I pretty much agree with Fern. If I need help, I don't call 911. I call the 2500 number. And I know they're just around the corner. If I need some help, I hate the thought of calling Auburn and talking to somebody that don't know the area. I want to call and say something's going on up on Route 9 up by Mason's. They know where they need to go. Well, what house number is that? I don't know what house number that is. It's Paul Mason's house. Everybody knows where he lives. Jack Arndt over on Main Street. We know Jack Arndt. Jack Arndt's been gone for years, but we know where Jack Arndt lives. Most of us here do. You know, we all want to save money. We don't want to pay taxes. But what little money we're going to save, I don't have all the figures and this, that, and the other. But you remember a few years ago, the town took their buses and took them to Hudson Bus. We were going to save all kinds of money. Well, I don't know how long that lasted, but it didn't last too long, did it? It came right back to town because they wasn't giving us the service that we needed. So we're probably paying a little bit more money with it being taken care of now, but they're being done right. He's always there if there's a bus problem. It's right here in town. And I like the dispatch where it is. If I have a problem, I go up to the window. Or if I have a problem, I can call, and I know they're right around the corner. And like I say, the people in dispatch need to know the town. They need to know where things are. They need to know landmarks. And I don't think it's just saving money. We all want to save money, but I think we got a good thing going here. It's working. I don't think it's broke. Leave it alone. If that's what the townspeople want, not just what you people want. As you can see here, we've got, I think most of these people here because of this. I haven't been to meetings. I don't know all the details, but I just want to get up and give you my opinion. My father would say, maybe this ain't the right thing to say, but a lot of you knew my father, Albert Campbell. He would say, skin a fart for a cent and spoil a 10-cent jackknife doing it. And maybe that's what you're going to do in here. You know, just because you think you're going to save money. Once you get into it, you're into it. You know, there's no turning back. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else? Yes, sir.
Harry Moore, Lisbon Center. I've been in town here since '78. I'm the sergeant, communications sergeant. I'm kind of wondering where half of my salary's going, because it's what it looks like half of it's gone. Assuming that wage and benefits is being zeroed out in the communications budget, is that right?
That's just, right now, that paper is just an estimate. Those are details that we would have to work out.
Okay. Well, half of my salary comes from the municipal budget, half comes from the communications budget. So if the communications budget's zeroed out, then I just lost half my salary, I guess, which I didn't know about. There's when we had the workshop the other night, I voiced my concerns because it seems like this is being fast-tracked. And looking at expressions on the board, I'm not sure why. I don't know. I'm guessing it's because the county needs an answer. The county has to have movement on their end. So we've got to move on our end. Well, the people of the town are the ones that benefit from the services that we provide. without them knowing what's happening, and how it's going to affect them, I think it needs to be slowed down. And I mentioned this the other night. The people should be the ones that have a voice in this. The people should be able to say, this is what they want, or the county is what they want. That's all I said the other night. There's questions about, I mentioned sort of a Donald Trump press conference the other night, because it was, well, we've got an estimate for this and an estimate for that, and maybe this, and we could that, and we don't really know. It's still that way. We still don't have responses for dark fiber. We don't know whether we're going to rely on the internet for our communications from us to the county. And I said in the workshop, I don't want to rely on the internet for that. I don't want to key my radio, and if the internet is down, nobody's going to hear me, because that's what happens. These people don't want their health and safety and welfare to be determined by Time Warner or whoever, because that's who's going to do it. It seems like, and I don't want the board or the administration here to turn a blind eye to the people, because just because you close your eyes, that doesn't mean we're gone.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Oh, yes, ma'am.
I'm Diane Ford, and I live in Lisbon. And I just found out about this meeting today. And I happen to feel that our dispatch does an excellent job. And when you're thinking about what you're doing, what if you go to the county? And what if it doesn't work? How much will it cost you to bring it back to the standards it is now, or to a better standard? So maybe we might be a pound short or a dollar foolish, but I think more people need to understand it and have an impact on what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Hello, Ryan Gay, 54 Frost Hill Avenue. I'll start off by saying I have a unique perspective of the whole dispatch consolidation, having been a dispatcher for the county for 6 years, having dispatched part-time for our dispatch center. Everything Chief Brooks said about Lisbon's dispatch being superior to the county's is true. They came in with the IMC procedures first. The county followed suit. I was able to come from the county, start working in Lisbon, and I was trained in a matter of a week and performed, I think, well. I agree with everything being said about it's moving fast. I would hate to think it's being fast-tracked, so someone in their campaign can say they've cut taxes for the citizens. I think it should go to a vote in November, and every one person can decide. Chief Brooks said $57 per $200,000 home on the mill rate.
That's a quick number.
Quick number, okay. I'd be willing to pay that $57, and I think a lot of citizens in this town would. I moved my family here about a year and a half ago because of the services Lisbon offered. I could have gone anywhere, mine it, much cheaper, but the thing that attracted me was the police department's here. I work 24-hour shifts at my full-time job. Wife and 3 kids are at home. I like knowing a phone call to this dispatch center, 2, 3 police officers in a matter of minutes. It's comforting. I recall a story a county lieutenant told me once. They had a burglary suspect. He was, part of his plea deal was to go around and show all the places he burglarized. They went through Durham, Greene, crossed the border into Lisbon. According to the story I was told, yeah, no, keep going. Then what? I didn't do anything in Lisbon. Well, why? Lisbon police gets you. They stop anything suspicious. They're an excellent police force, and the first line of that police force is their communications. I recall, where's Catmore at? That extrication job we had on 196 in the snow. Yep. That was earlier this year? Yep. That was called in, I believe, by a snowplow driver? Yep. Yeah. that dispatcher being able to hear that snowplow driver in that radio console room who pushes a button and sends us out saved valuable time. Cell phone call might go to Gray, might go to Lewiston Auburn 911, might hit the county. Maybe they dial 2500. I believe we had, 3 kids in the back of that car and 2 adults? 4 kids. That was valuable time. We need to have that time. I think it should go to a vote. I think that people should be able to decide how valuable they believe their dispatch center is. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Anybody else?
Laura Campbell, Houghton Road, Lisbon. I'm just kind of reiterating what everybody else says, but just keep in mind that it's the public that voted you guys in here. It's our money that you're spending, and I'm with everybody else. I agree that we deserve to vote if we want to pay the extra money or not. I'm sure a lot of people would rather pay it than take chances. I hope it's okay to say this, but my niece had a fire last week in her mobile home. The neighbor called in. If that had to go to dispatch, I would hate to think what would happen. The fire department did an awesome job. They were there within minutes. It was out. I can't say enough about them. If it had to go somewhere else, that trailer could have gone up. So I just keep in mind that it's the people that voted you guys in, and we need to vote on if we want this to go through or not. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Anybody else? Nope, not at this point, Dot. Nope, not at this point. Nope, you're all done. Anybody else at this point? Anybody in the overflow room? Mr. Albert?
Norm Albert, 2 Cynthia's Drive, Lisbon Falls. This has nothing to do. I wasn't going to speak on the dispatch issue. I understand you are responsible for the decorum of these meetings, but it's just disrespectful and rude.
No, at this point, you're out of order as well. So, you're done. Anybody else? Mary Morgan.
Mary Morgan Alexander, Lisbon Center. I had an experience a few years ago now. I got home to find out I'd been burgled. I called the dispatch center. Within 15 minutes, not only did we have 3 of our very best police officers catch the perp, but he was already wrapped up and off to county. He had 2 of my firearms. We need instant response, as fast a response as we can get, and we need people to know who's there, who it is. We had the perp identified 5 minutes after the police officers arrived at my apartment. So we knew who the guy was, and we knew where to go and get him. Somebody from outside is not going to know this. So I'd like to reiterate what everyone else has said. Good evening.
Thank you. Anybody else? Ken Wills.
Ken Wells, Lisbon Falls. I'd just like to remind the council of the incident where the council wanted, or the town wanted to take over the water department. And after forming a committee, doing that for a year, doing reports, everything else, it was found that it was just beneficial to leave it the way it was. So I think that we should form a committee or have a committee that studies this and then send it to the voters. Let them decide.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? And we'll wrap it up. Anybody in the overflow room? Does anybody know? I don't see anybody coming out. Dot, we'll wrap up with you with your last comment, as long as it's something different than the alternative ed, and we'll move on to the rest of the agenda.
Dot Fitzgerald again. On the roofing bids, I'm a little confused. There are 5 companies that are bidding. There's a base bid, alternative 1, alternative 2, and a bid alternative 3. And alternative 1 and 2 there's quite a bit of cost difference, and I'm wondering if are you planning on having them re-roof the entire building or just sections of it? Is that why the alternatives?
Thank you very much, Dot. Ryan will be explaining all that later on this evening. All right. I'll bring it back to the council at this point. We had a lot of input from the public, and I appreciate everybody sharing the input. I did hear everybody what you had to say. It was good to see a good crowd come out and people to share their opinions. Does the council have anything you want to respond with to anybody before we move forward?
I will point out one thing. There was a combined dispatch study done in 2008. It's available online if anybody wants to read it. Couple things about it, though, that I find interesting is the fact that the executive summary that was supposed to be done upon completion is blank. So is the last section, which is the recommendations. So I'm a little confused by this study, but from what I can see in there, we're the third largest city in the state, or in the county. So for us to have our own dispatch was the best idea they came up with. So if we want to do it, I would lean towards trying to go with a study to make sure we're doing the right thing before we move. That's my 2 cents. As far as voting, it's too late, folks, to get it on November. We've already got the ballots done, so that's not an option right now.
Yes. Anything else?
Yeah, I want to say something.
Very good, Roger.
I think, yes, I am kind of pro anyways. I've seen it. I think what we ought to do is when it's time to do this, is to quell it. Just get rid of it. Start with the new, not bond, but grant. See if we can get that through. Maybe if we work with the city of Auburn, they won't make mistakes. And with Susan Collins' office, but still, and then that will take us a year, and then next November, put it for the people to vote.
Okay.
And I was gonna call for a public hearing, but I think it ought to be just quelled. We haven't got really, I could get mad because we have not got the figures. It's being crammed down our throat, and after last year's budget season, I will not have anything crammed down my throat again.
Very good.
Yeah, I agree completely with Roger. I think you're absolutely right. We're rushing into it too fast, and I want to take the time. And if we decide to do it, let's do it right and make sure all the people are involved, all the stakeholders are involved, and the people in the town know what's happening. I mean, we spent more time dealing with garbage consolidation than we have on this dispatch, and I think this is very important. And I've had a couple of occasions to call 911, and I was very happy to have a dispatcher right in town who knew the town and knew the road where I was, and was able to send somebody over there and get people on top of it. So I'm not ready to move forward with it as it's been presented to us.
Anything else?
Yeah, I personally am not ready for it either. I had a hard time even the last meeting we had, and I thought it was kind of quick. I didn't realize we was going to a vote so soon, and I think, I'm not saying I'm for it or against it. Right now, if we had to vote tonight, I'd say, no, I'm not in favor of it right now, because I think there's some unanswered questions, and I think we need to look into some stuff, and I agree with what Roger says. I think it should be the people, and it doesn't look like it as Greg had mentioned, we can't put it on this November's ballot, so it'd have to be next year before we can do anything. But that would give us time to look into some stuff and find out. I don't think it's that urgent that we jump at this right now. I think we could look into it and get everybody involved that needs to be involved to discuss it. And if the people in the town want to do away with it, let the people decide to do away with it. That's my take on it also.
Anybody else before I wrap up? All right, I'll just simply respond with my blanket statement as well. Hearing from everybody tonight was really important to me. I also believe coming out of this meeting or this audience participation tonight that it is not a smart thing to move forward with this at this point. We do have it on the agenda for a vote tonight because the county's doing their budget and they're a calendar year. So we will have to take a vote tonight one way or another so we can send a message to the county. I would be in favor of putting a committee together to look at all the angles, have multiple public hearings to answer questions, and put it on a November ballot. I would be in favor of that at another date. But I think tonight I would agree with the rest of my fellow councilors that have spoke so far. There is more homework that needs to be done and more questions than we have answers at this point. And I think public safety is important. Public safety is an important thing for everybody in this community that I hear from, and especially seeing the turnout this evening. So with that being said, move on to the next item on the agenda, please.
Is the consent agenda. Any counselor wishing to have any item removed, they do so now. Items removed from the consent agenda would be considered next. Seeing none, order 2015-290 to approve the minutes of September 15, September 17, September 29, pole permit for Central Main Power for Webster Road, and a pole permit for Fairpoint for Lisbon Street.
Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept them all.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Under council orders, resolutions, and ordinances, order 2015-291 to dispatch consolidation vote.
Open the floor for a motion here.
I'll make the motion to, not to vote on,
Not to move forward?
not to move forward.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? I'll just simply, once again, thank the staff for the work you have done so far with the sheriff. Unfortunately, the timing just isn't right, and hopefully we can do some more work to get some more answers before the next time, and the council can have a discussion in the future if we want to do a committee, join the schools safety committee, or how we want to move forward with this item, or drop it all together. But I think it's a good start for us. Anything else on the motion? All those in favor of the motion?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-292, contract for PSAP services.
Diane?
This is just the annual contract with the county for the PSAP. We have to pay a rate of $2 per capita, which is the same rate that we paid last year. So the annual fee for this service is $18,018, and what I'm asking is that you authorize me to sign the 2016 contract.
Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-293, the municipal BMV agent and the inland fisheries agent.
We again have to provide a name to the state for both these positions, municipal agent and inland fisheries agent. I am proposing now to have Pauline fill those slots, Pauline Pelletier, and she's got the necessary training on both sides. There is a little bit more work that needs to be done, but she is qualified to, as far as the training that they are looking for, she has done that. She's gotten the certificate so that she can do these two agents. There is some more training that she needs to go through, but I am proposing that you put forth her name for the state to approve, and I would also like to compensate her because there is quite a lot of responsibility to make sure everything is done right. If we don't do things right on the municipal agent side, the state can stop us from issuing registrations if we don't send in the correct paperwork and the correct reporting. So I'd like to propose compensating her $1 an hour and then increasing that maybe to $1.50 once she is fully trained on the reports.
Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion. I have no problems with that at all.
As presented.
As presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And I appreciate Pauline taking on the responsibility. The next item, please.
Order 2015-294 to request to bid winter sand.
Ryan, good evening.
Hello. As much as we hate to admit it, it's that time of year. Just coming to ask permission to go out to bid for the winter sand. I guess that's it.
Okay. Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion to go out for winter sand as long as we can. Well, we've had some fiascos before.
It's the same bid spec, and we'll go through and
Okay.
go through it.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Thank you, Ryan. Yep. And the next item, please.
Order 2015-295, request to advertise surplus property.
The sewer department has two surplus vehicles that we've been hanging on to for a while, and we're to the point, especially we went through our preparations for our stormwater audit, and one of the things was trying to basically get rid of junk that we don't need, as its potential source of pollution and whatnot. So we haven't used either of these vehicles since we purchased the new replacements, and we'd like permission to advertise the old sewer Jetta cleaner for sale, as well as the boom truck, which was actually an old public works truck that got handed down to the treatment plant and retrofitted with a crane. And the only real value in that boom truck is the crane itself. It's a kind of a catch basin cleaner in a crane with remote controls, that wireless connection. So that does have some value, we feel. So we'd like to put these two items out for sale with those minimum bids. 10,000 for the sewer cleaner and 3,000 for the boom truck.
Any comments or questions on this?
Yeah, I got one, not what going out, but why do we have to give you permission to get rid of the junk that you don't use all the time?
It's town property. It's my understanding that you
Yeah, but
as
if it
the-
goes out to high bid, everybody knows what to do.
Procedure. I think,
procedure.
I think it's good that it comes to us just so we know that, they're not selling off the assets without asking
I know
us.
that
It's
boom
just-
truck came to us last year, I think.
Yeah, we never got anywhere. So now we'll try again.
Any other comments or questions on this? So you're gonna be all set if these two vehicles do go? You're not gonna need any more equipment to replace them?
We already replaced them through the regular budget.
Okay, just wanna make sure that
Yep.
there's nothing additional. Okay. Kind of on the same line, what about the one-ton truck that put out a while ago?
We didn't receive bids, but I guess there was a message this morning. I just had a voicemail when I got back today that the person that had bid on it but then rescinded his bid is still interested in it. So
Okay.
I'll deal with that the next couple of days, but we never received any bids at this point. We'll just see what we can get and get rid of
Okay,
it.
very good. Open the floor for motion.
I'll make the motion to accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Order passed 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-296, award roof bid.
So as a result of the, I think it was a workshop discussion we had regarding the performance contract and then the further discussion along the roof lines, we did put out an RFP to replace the roof here at the town office. The paperwork I submitted includes all the bids and the bid alternates, and I'd be happy to go through all those details if
Yes,
you'd like.
please.
So we received, well, the base bid originally was just to replace the existing asphalt shingles with the lifetime, whatever lifetime that is, certified asphalt shingles with a bid alternate number one of putting ice and water shield across the whole surface of the roof instead of just, I think it was 3 feet up the valley and 3 or 6 feet up the edges. And then bid alternate two was to include metal valley pans instead of just doing a weave shingle. And bid alternate three was to do a full metal roof. We received 5 bids. The base bid being the primary bid for decision really was the asphalt bid. We received a bid of $186,000 from Gladue Roofing, $67,850 from Jar Management, Mount Desert Roofing of $89,560, Restorations Home Remodeling of $88,610, and Williams Roofing of $82,956. We did, there was some interest in the possibility of doing the metal, and so I'll just read those bids as well. Gladue Roofing did not submit a bid. Jar Management submitted a bid of $97,750. Mount Desert Roofing, $142,900. Restorations Home Remodeling of $96,000, and Williams Roofing Incorporated of $129,560. We don't have a budget line for this, so I don't really know what the dollar amount is that we'd be working with overall, but I'd recommend that we either award the asphalt shingle bid with bid alternate one to Jar Management, or the metal roofing option if we want to go that route to the Restorations Home Remodeling.
Diane?
As far as the funding, we have $39,000 left over in the energy performance contract. once we do the amendment to the energy performance contract because of the change in the scope of work on the roof. And then we have another $25,000 that we're going to be getting back on the interest from the IRS that we pay on the energy performance loan. So that's a total of $64,000 that we potentially have to put towards this project. I think because of the bid alternate number 3 for the metal roof came in at $97,000, which is, you know, about $10,000 more than we thought. The asphalt was going to come in, and based on prior quotes that the town had received a few years ago on a metal roofing, that's a very attractive price because the pricing that came in back then was well over $200,000. So I think for another $35,000 that we should go ahead with the metal roof. And at the very least, if we can't find another pot of money, which I'm sure we can, you can designate it from undesignated fund balance. But I would do that at the last resort. But for
One comment on that. The metal roofing work cannot get completed till the spring. The asphalt work, they can start this year, and we would pick the worst sections first, but they didn't think they'd be able to get it completely done before winter as well, so that factors into the decision as far as that's concerned, but I'd rather see the metal roof and never have to talk about this again.
I would too, but we do have issues with the existing roof. In fact, the last rainstorm we just had last week, you know, the police department was experiencing leaks. But I guess that those leaks have been going on for a while, right? Or
And I'm not
is it
100%
something
sure
new?
if it's a leak around the protrusions or what it is.
Is it possible to just do some patchwork in those bad areas just to get us through the winter so we can just go ahead with the metal in the spring? I mean, how bad is it that,
We'd have to find out where it's leaking, but I don't see, I mean, that's something that we can certainly look at doing.
I would like, I'm definitely interested in the metal roof perspective as well. But I would like to narrow down a little more where we're going to find the money, to know where that's going to come from before we take a vote personally, but.
Yeah, I'm very frustrated to have this happen out of budget season. It's
Yeah.
very disturbing to me to have this happen in the mid-cycle. And I mean, if it's that bad, I don't know how we didn't know there was a problem until that it was, you know, that serious.
I agree
Until
with that.
now, I don't. Somebody must have known, or you know, if shingles are blowing off the roof, I really wish we would have told us 6 months ago.
Well, it was part of the energy contract, and
Right.
they decided it wasn't.
What does the council want to do?
I wanna go with a metal roof.
Okay.
Yeah,
We have a consensus on metal roof?
metal roof seems like a good deal at that price.
yes.
To see if we can repair the roof we have, and you can add the metal roof into the budget season for next year to have it done. Start reading the budget and get it done.
Okay.
Yeah, metal roof is definitely the way to go. It's,
If they will hold that contract price. They can't,
true. We'd have to, well, if we commit now,
you know.
yeah.
You commit now, we have $64,000 that we can commit now.
Right. Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
That's real money that
Well,
you
they
really
already
put your
said they
hands
couldn't
on.
do it till next year anyway, so this contract price must be good till next year, because they said they couldn't do it till next year, so,
You would think.
you know.
Okay.
I guess that's what we need to know, is what direction the council would like us to go, and then we can negotiate with the contractor, knowing what we have for funding and based on the input that you've provided to us.
Well, I'm for the metal roof.
So we have a consensus on metal roof. We know we can't.
I'm for the metal roof, except that the reason we're rushing into this is that we were told that it was not going to last the winter, so we had to do something immediately, and now we're being told, you know, we're going to do that in the spring. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, it's because this figure came in a lot lower than.
It's great, but if the roof collapses and they're all buried in snow under the winter,
Well, that's why I was asking if
we're
they
going
can
to find.
fix
Yeah,
it.
well, the
Hold
code,
it
the
so-
reason we don't know about what's going to happen with the winter is the code enforcement officer identified one section of the roof. I think it was on the police department side. Is that right, Ryan?
The police department side on the,
Right. Right,
that side.
The west
um,
side.
right. So,
Yeah, the shingles are failing. The leak occurred on this parking lot side of the roof, and that's where all the penetrations go through for the furnaces and vents and whatnot, and so I don't know for sure if it
Couldn't
was
they-
a vent.
Can't they just do a section? I mean, I understand it's a big roof, but couldn't they do that section?
We
and-
didn't get into those discussions, because again, not.
You don't have to do the entire, you don't have to do the
Do
entire
that
road.
side and then do metal in the spring.
When did the guys go up on the roof for the energy performance contract to determine what needed to be done? How long ago was that?
It was at least one winter, and it might have been two. Based on how
winter.
long, based on how
So
long it
it's
took to do it.
deteriorated that much since, well, because we had a bad winter last winter, so.
Feels like getting up on a roof with a bucket of tar
That works.
and a mop. Been there, done that. Then again, it was a flat roof.
So do you guys want to send them back to figure out if we can repair that in the, for the winter?
I wouldn't say repair it, I'd say get that contract, have them start on that and just do the metal on that as much as they can this year and finish it next year. Do the bad areas and,
We haven't had those discussions again, because
I know you
we were
can
looking at doing
do
the
part of
asphalt.
Would it be possible, right, for them to get the metal section on just at least that part of the
Yeah,
police
that's what I was
station
saying.
before winter? You know, if you could call them and see if they could get that done in the next couple of weeks or month here.
That'll be what we proceed, if that's what you want.
That's where I'd go with it.
Yeah, if you could.
That looks good to me.
I would like to do that.
Table to the next meeting, see if we can get the information.
I would like, I think that's a good idea. And I would, like I said before, like to see the total funding perspective, where we're going to find that money. And if you could get in touch with them to see if they can start the work. You know, if they could do a portion of it.
This is a silly question, but who wants to choose the color of the metal roof?
Moxie orange.
Oh, God, no, please.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
you guys just want to designate that with the town manager.
I think so.
Very good.
So we'll
Now,
table.
is there a different cost?
Yeah.
Yes.
I believe there is.
Then we'll go with the cheaper
What's
one.
the cheaper
Yeah.
one?
I believe colors.
A standard color is.
Can you
gonna
get that information and bring it back to the next meeting?
be- Yeah, if this is the direction that we want to go, then
I think
that's.
Moxie Orange might
Yeah.
cost a
Yeah.
little more.
Well,
So
I guess the question is it, am I understanding that the direction the council would like us to proceed is to talk to Restorations, as they were the low bidder, discuss what the options are for proceeding with the metal roof?
and some bring back prices on different colors, and the town manager to identify all funding sources to present that as well. Council set with that?
Find out if that comes with catches in a certain small, it's
Yep.
what it really,
Where they need to be?
where they need to
Right.
be, absolutely.
Right.
My only concern is if we are trying to get anything done before this winter, we might want to have an emergency meeting next week, just so that vote on it quicker, because a week's difference might make the difference of whether they get something before snow falls or not.
It is October.
We can, as soon as they get back information,
Yeah,
if you
if
guys,
they do, then we'll do it.
Diane, contact me, and I can call a meeting right away.
You get a hold of Moxie, maybe they pay some money to put
All set.
Moxie Orange.
Thank you.
Big
Thank you very
Moxie
much.
sign. Get a big Moxie on this thing.
And the next item,
Cut us
please.
some money.
Order 2015-297, an amendment to the energy performance contract.
And this is to exclude the replacement of the valleys, because they can't do that because of the condition of the roof, and to expand the scope to a total roof replacement. That allows us to use the $39,000 to move forward with this project. So it's to authorize me to sign an amendment to the performance contract agreement with Siemens. We have to do an amendment to the contract.
Any comments, questions? Any comments, questions on this? Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Greg? You will second to Councilor Bickford. And in the packet on page 65, we have the breakout of the actual bond and where the changes are going to be with the interest and the principal payments. The motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Motion passed 7-0.
Thank you. And the next item, please.
Order 2015-298, fuel bid.
I passed that around. You should have that in front of you. I got quotes today. We sent out the bid specs yesterday, and I must say that the prices are a lot better than last year. The current price for our fixed heating oil that we're paying right now is $2.89, and the low bid came in at $1.889, so it's about $1 cheaper. So I have in front of you the results, and my recommendation is to award the number 2, not number 3. Number 2 heating oil with a fixed price of $1.889, propane with a fixed price of $1.139 to Down East Energy. Award Type 1 kerosene with a fixed price of $2.039, and diesel with a fixed price of $1.889 and off-road diesel with a fixed price of 2.009 to CN Brown. And then award gasoline rack price plus .030 to MW Seawall. That's a little bit more than last year, that what we're currently doing. But the second bid came in high as well, so that's what it is.
What is the gasoline rack? Not
It's
familiar with
what's whatever the rack price is, and then there's a markup on top of it, so you get the rack price, it's
Okay.
whatever the going rate is. And then they do a markup. So we get the full tanker when they come in
Diane,
and
I
fill
have
us.
one, I'm reading this and I got one concern because I haven't been able to go over it, I just got it today. But it says diesel with a fixed price of 1.889.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good price, but diesel off-road fuel is 2.009. And usually diesel off-road fuel is cheaper than on-road fuel.
That's what I got for bids. I attached, I know.
I mean, if the off-road stuff, we probably could run, I don't know if Ryan, we don't really need it. Because it's only for equipment, not for
Right.
trucks.
So what are you saying, not to
run
award
all-
the
just run it
off-road?
all on the
Use
other
regular
part.
diesel if that's what they're gonna give us a
Yeah.
price for, yeah, I have to
If
agree.
we're going with the off-road, it'd be cheaper.
Yep.
I mean, I'd like to, usually a lot of people used to do it the other way, but you can't
Mhm.
do that, you know,
Not legally.
no. So, I would say go with the,
Right, the equipment will
Yeah,
run
just
on the other
diesel,
diesel just
yeah.
as well.
matter of fact, most of the diesel now, anything.
You wanna get Ryan back in
Yeah.
here to ask
Hold on,
Ryan?
We'll bring it, hold on, we'll bring some corn back here. Ryan, do you have any comments on that?
On off-road versus on-road?
Yeah,
It was always my understanding the off-road diesel was a different color and cheaper because you weren't paying the tax on it,
right,
so.
right. So
I mean,
it's
I
the
don't
same
see
stuff,
any-
basically, just different color,
That's my understanding.
yeah. Well,
I
that's
was
what
looking
it's
at-
They can
happened
charge
now.
you more 'cause it's got a color to it.
Yeah. The color's only so you don't run it in an
Correct.
on-road truck.
Correct.
No problem running the other equipment on the regular diesel, right?
It's just the generators, I don't see why it would,
Just die.
I'd wanna confirm that for sure before I.
It's all got the
Anybody?
sulfur and everything else in it now.
So we'll just do everything except for the off-road then?
Yeah, and just, if you need, for the off-road, just put the regular diesel in the tanks. They might
Yep,
have.
okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking CN Brown might have made a boo-boo there.
All right, I will open the floor for a motion, so we can move forward.
Their bid.
Somebody wanna make a motion?
I'll make the motion to accept, the way Diane, except for we're gonna, eliminate the off-road diesel and go with fixed diesel price.
Motion, we have a second.
Second.
Second from Councilman Matavia. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-299, the school budget validation referendum timeline.
In our packet, page 66, we have a school budget validation timeline presented here with a council public hearing and comment on October 20th, and the council vote October 20th with a school budget validation referendum for Tuesday, November 3rd this year. Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. And it's customary for the council to ratify the September 22nd, 2015 election.
Okay. Do you want to go over it?
Question 1, to adopt the school budget. In total, yes. 142, no. 452, blank, 0. Question 2, if you voted no, was it because the budget is too low? Total votes, 371. Too high, 81, blank, 0. Ballots cast, 594.
Would you like a motion and a vote to ratify? Okay. Open the floor for motion.
I'll make the motion to validate it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
And vote is 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-300, the Maine Municipal Employees Health Trust Wellness Grant Application.
Yeah, now that we're back with the Health Trust, we can apply for the Wellness Incentive Grant money that they have available, and we would like to apply for $410 to go towards wellness programs, health promotional programs, and we have a budget here where we could do, these are what we plan on doing, is Flu and You Lunch and Learn, tissues and hand sanitizers, winter workout lunch and learn, incentive gift cards for pedometer challenge, and healthy meals on the go class, and portion control containers. Those are some of the things that the employees wanted to learn more about. And there's no matching funds. We just apply through the Health Trust, and if we're successful, we'll get $410 to go towards these classes.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Is that for the employees here in the town office, or is that all departments within
All
the?
departments.
All departments, okay.
Yep.
Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
We'll give that to Councilor Lunt. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-301, the streetlight request.
This is an item that I had the manager put on the agenda. I've had two citizens now contact me about a streetlight being put in at the end of Wing Street and Main Street, just past Edgecombe Road. I've had both citizens complain that it's a dark intersection and there's no light there. So I drove through there one evening to see if it really was dark, and that intersection does sit back a little bit, and there is no light. There's a light on Edgecombe Road, and there's one a little farther down. I asked the manager to get some cost projections for the light. Could you share those
It's about
with us?
$15 a month.
So, with that cost, I wanted to put it on the agenda to bring it to the council to see if we wanted to vote to have a light put up there.
I know the area well. I have no reason to object to it.
Okay. I'll make a motion to authorize the town manager to sign documents and have a streetlight installed at the intersection of Main Street and Wing Street.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Under other business, town manager's report.
Just, we did hire a new employee to replace Haley, and she starts on Tuesday, and her name is Megan Levine. So we look forward to having another person in the building to help out with the workload.
Can you just share for the public that doesn't know what position she'll have?
This will be the deputy tax collector and the sewer billing clerk.
Very good. Excited to have her on board. All right. Anything else? Do you have anything else, Diane?
Nope.
All right. And the next item, please.
Is department head reports.
Diane.
Ryan and Tracy are here tonight to verbally give a report.
He was just waiting. He had that planned, so I would go first. I believe at the last council meeting, council had asked for department heads to come up and do kind of their monthly reports, give those who don't have the option to come to the meetings or go to the website and watch it on TV or whatever. But we're with this anyway, so. But what I did is I kind of went through September's report. As Diane had said, we did lose an employee, so we've been kind of playing a lot of dual roles. One of the things that I've tried to do, and Diane has joined me, is do visitations to the businesses, get out in the community. We've been kind of working on sewer and getting everything kind of in line for that, so I've been helping out with that. But I did want to say during the month of September that we did go out to do a visitation to the Blue Ox Malt House and got a tour on how that's going. If you're not familiar with that, that is down at Capitol Ave. Harvey Metals, it's in that building. There's actually 3 businesses now in that building. They sort of divided it up, and it's going very well down there. I actually had the USDA director come down from Bangor, and we went down and did a tour and met with Harvey Meadows, and he seemed to be quite pleased as far as on how creative he was with the space. We will look to do a grand open ribbon cutting. There's been a lot of people that has done the funding for this project, and everything that Joel has done has been pretty much in Maine. So all of his wheat and barley products are coming down from the county area. His manufacturing of the equipment that will turn it into the malt, the hops that's needed for the breweries, was manufactured here in Maine by fabricators. So his goal is basically to keep everything in the jobs right here in Maine. So as they get going, they will be hiring in other employees as well. It's not a brewery. It's just the dry products that they will supply to breweries. So that was a little nice visitation. I also went, I'm not sure if any of you had the opportunity, but the Lisbon Mill Mall now, it used to be the #1 flea market, 1 Upland Road, and I went and did a visitation. Marcel had asked me to come over, check out his building, see what he wanted to do, help do some marketing with him and give him some different ideas what to do with the space. What he's done with it, he's been doing some renovations. He's been in there painting and cleaning and reorganizing, and it looks very nice what he's done. The front part of the building is still the flea market aspect of it, and then he has the back end where, again, kind of comes the name of the mall. It's actually different little shops. So he's got an area that is more of general goods, discount general goods. You might, find shampoo or soaps or basically non-perishable type items, and they're building on that and adding more things. He also has been in the works of another business coming in, which I'm actually pretty excited about because I think it would be good for the area. I'm just waiting to hear if that all comes to fruition. And then he'll have space for another building. So you could see about 4 or 5 different businesses. The flea market aspect of it is how it works is if people want to be there, they can be there to man their tables, but if not, it's all itemized and each one is giving a number. And so there is somebody operating the cash register, so they would take that and go up there, and based on that number is recorded, and that person, of course, will get their sale from that. Another company that's in there with him that's been helping him out is a woodworking company, does customized woodworking. And I will say that the shelving and the bookcases and all of the things that he's been doing, we're gonna have a conversation because it's just very, very nice in there. So they're doing a great job. Under new development, we did a ribbon cutting down at Jerry LaCase is the owner of the Golden Dragon Martial Arts Academy and Fitness Center. He's been going pretty strong. He's on Union Street, so this is another business in the downtown area. And Diane helped me with that. He's very pleased and very happy to be here. As you can see, the Dollar General project is really coming along. Their goal is to open this fall. I think they were kind of hoping to open in October. I'm just not sure where they're going to be at. It might be more towards the end of October, but they're certainly pushing. As you can see, there's a lot of activity going on in there to get things moving. The LAMP, Alzheimer's Residential Care. Have you all seen what's going on out there? Another show shining place is that what they've been doing is renovations. They purchased the property in front of them, they tore down the building, cleaned it all out, and now they are doing some great facade work. Again, it goes to the testament as far as with the planning board and all of the work that has gone on within the past couple of years of putting together the design standards, putting together a downtown master plan, the Route 196 master plan, because anybody that's looking into the area, that's what they want to see. And other businesses that are here want to see that. They want to see that their neighbors are doing something. So there are some good things happening. I'm also going to go a little bit in regards to I know there's been a lot of talk as far as what's going on. The building's been torn down, and now there's just this flat land in Lisbon area. And It's just dirt, what's going on there, and everybody seems to know. Really, I can tell you that it's just been cleaned up. It's just been, the properties have been purchased, and just to level out and to clean the area. So when you look at that area, again, it goes with what the standards are there. We have not had anyone come in and put any plans, neither has the planning board, so nothing's come before us in regards that there's gonna be actually a physical building going there. It's just neatened up. So that's the story to that one. Mill Street Dam, as you know, we've had the conversations with the American Salmon Federation in regards to the Mill Street Dam project. I met with the people in Augusta for the brownfields. Right now, they did award the bid to TRC Engineer and Environmental Consultants, and they are in the process of doing the phase one. Phase one is just the research, so they will be going through kind of what I did, but more extensive and through DEP and the files and files and files of the property. From that, they'll make the determination if a phase two needs to be conducted or not. We should have a report. The goal was to have something by the beginning of October, but it'd probably be more towards the end of October, in lieu of them awarding that bid. Again, this is no cost to Lisbon. This is done strictly out of the state through their brownfields program. And as you know, the alternative education program came in, and the kids are certainly very excited about working with that. You may find as they get out there, they probably will be doing some flagging and some tagging and markers, and I just asked Andy to work with Mark where he heads the parks, and certainly let Public Works know that these markers are going to be there. So if you see an orange tag or a marker, please don't remove it. It is the kids out there having a lesson in biology. Again, the goal is when they're done with this project is to bring something back and say, this is what we found, work with the parks and Public Works on if we do have a lot of invasive species, how do we mitigate those so they don't become a problem to the trail or to the people utilizing the trail system. This will be a project that is not just 1 year. This will be where a new class comes in and they will just continue. They will monitor the situation. The Maine Downtown Foundation, as you know, Lisbon is a downtown network community, and Ross Cunningham is actually part of the Maine Leadership Program, which is the 215-216 class that is done through the Maine Downtown Foundation. And he came up with the idea of how would it be to partner or get the group to do a pilot program in looking at Maine downtown network communities and what it needs to do to get to a full Main Street designation. I met with the committee that is actually doing this pilot program, and I've gave them some ideas and goals. One of the biggest things within the Main Street program is it takes a lot of involvement. I'm one person in one department that has many hats. And we just, this is an opportunity for them to really look at it, meet with the businesses. I'll talk to the Positive Change Lisbon group and see how we can incorporate that. Does it mean that Lisbon is ready to go to the next step? Does it mean we should stay in the network for a little while longer, or does it mean, is it worth it at all for us? The biggest thing with the Main Street designation is that it just helps within those extra points when it comes time to grant funding. So again, we'll know something on that a little bit more next year, but it's really good to kind of have some others work with us on that. Again, we are the only community doing that. This is a pilot program. So Lisbon is setting the standard as far as on this program, and I'm sure if it's successful in the outcome of that, they probably will do that with other municipalities as well. Business Breakfast Forum. I try to do these quarterly. We haven't had one for a while. In speaking with a lot of the businesses, I've asked, what is it that you want to have? I try to do speakers, whatever the businesses want to have. And a few of them had said, you know what would be really nice? We don't have the opportunity as a business owner to network with other businesses in the community. The small businesses, and Don sitting right behind me can attest to that, I'm sure, because I've been down at his place, I don't know how many times to try to help him out with the Shop Lisbon, and we haven't been able to connect. So they asked that, can we do that? And I said, absolutely, whatever you guys want, that, I will try to arrange that. So we have scheduled for October 29th, which is a Thursday, from 7:30, starting at 7:30, probably till about 9, but I've seen where people just stay and talk, and that's fine too. I'm certainly not gonna tell them that they have to leave. And there will be no guest speaker, it's just that opportunity. It's our own network within Lisbon businesses. It's not going to a big chamber breakfast networking with others around. It's the opportunity for them to network with one another. Diane Jackson, if those who may not know who Diane Jackson is, she is the account executive for the Department of Economic and Community Development in Augusta. She has worked with me many years, back in my Auburn days, and she wanted to be part of it as well. So she will be here, and she will meet with the business owners as well. If they've got questions, they want to know what's happening at the state level. They want to know if there's particular programs, what resources, and how she might be able to help them. So that's, if anybody would like to join us, I'd love to have you. I am asking for an RSVP, so I know in providing for the food, I get an idea of accounts. So if the businesses have all been emailed, the flyer has gone out. I've sent out a press release as well to have it put in the paper. It's been on the Facebook page, so I'm getting a really good response, and I think I got 3 more here tonight, so that I can add to my list. Moxie Festival, where we're at with Moxie Festival, I think at the last meeting, when I gave the report, the financial report, the committee is really set for kind of moving forward in a lot of different ways. We're looking to make some changes to the website, update it, doing some marketing. They want to be out in other communities where there's festivals and events going on so they can market and promote the Moxie Festival, bringing more people here. The committee participated in the Balloon Festival and the parade. This weekend is the Pumpkin Festival, and they're going to be participating in that as well. So you've got a really good, energy as far as moving forward. Right now, we are soliciting entries for the theme, for our 2016 theme. And I believe I just opened one email yesterday from North Carolina. So they come from all over. It just it amazes me on how far that they come. So we are doing that. The deadline for the entries is October 15th. The committee is meeting twice this month. We are meeting next Tuesday and then again towards the end of the month so we can choose a theme. The whole idea with the orange and Halloween is that we're going to make our official announcement. We also will be getting together and getting our letters out to the businesses for our sponsorship. One of the things I would like to say that we are certainly in need of help with volunteers. It takes a lot of people to run this festival. It's not a small festival. It's considered a very large festival. This is picked up by the AP all over, and people know this festival, and they come from all over just to come to Lisbon. So it definitely takes a lot of hands, and I credit for those that have been part of it and appreciate them, but sometimes they're unable to go forward as well. Our vendors, we definitely need someone to help out with our vendors. Jonathan is unable to take on the role as he's done in the past with our vendors, so he's still going to be part of the festival committee, but he's asked to find help. And I'm sure he'd be willing to assist as well as anybody else on the committee will help in that regard. Again, it's really what it's all about. This is a community event. It's for the community, so we need the community to help out. The Lisbon Career Center, the grant has expired. However, that does not mean that the Career Center is not operating. It is still operating. It has laptops, it has the materials, and everything that I receive from it, whether it be Bonnie Staffen or whether it be from the Career Center, is posted at the library. They post it on their doors. They have the postings so people know. In fact, I just sent 2 postings where 2 companies are doing free training for those looking for employment. One of them happens to be, I think it's Argo Marketing, and then the other one happens to be nursing home. So, you know, this is really good that companies are willing to do that. They are actually going to, if somebody's looking for an opportunity, they are going to give you the free training. You don't pay anything, and the opportunity to have a job. So I think that's good.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Tracy. Does anyone from the council have any comments or questions?
And this will be, of course, in the monthly reports with the other
Very good.
departments.
Thank you very much. And now, Ryan.
I'll be very brief. Basically, just like to update you on what the major department projects are at this point. The Public Works addition is moving along after we awarded the insulation project. They insulated that. They got it all done in one weekend. The electricians have started the work. And we met this week with local contractors to get some prices on just some carpentry work that we need to have done so we can get the garage doors installed and just some buttoning up inside, but that'll be ready to roll this winter. Along those lines, we did hire a new mechanic. I believe that had been reported. He started last Monday, so he's getting himself into the swing of things. Luckily, we had Duncan come out of retirement to give us a hand, and he's helping him along, but he's going to be a very good asset for us, and he'll be able to set up that, you know, addition the way he needs to. The rest of the crew has been working on ditching and culverts and paving projects. Basically, we're getting to that point where we'll be transitioning to winter operations, so just trying to button up what we need to do this fall. We've also been working on the bike racks that were obtained through the grant year ago, I guess. We took delivery a year ago, so we've been working on those. We installed just the one out here so far, but there's, after working with Tracy and Mark, we're putting a bunch of them just on steel so they can be moved around, put away in the wintertime, and just located at MTM, the boat launch and whatnot. The sewer department has done if you've noticed, have done a lot of sewer manhole repairs. Kind of cut up 196 there for a little while, a little slalom course, but trying to get that stuff taken care of before winter as well. And they'll actually be starting in on cleaning storm drains very soon, if not next week, the week after for sure. We've basically determined that where we're going to take the catch basin debris, and that'll be stored at the old landfill in an area that's contained, so that way we can, until we can transport that further. Our goal will be to start on Main Street, so we can get some drainage information to DOT. Kind of leads into the next topic is DOT has 3 projects in the pipeline, if you will, right now. The intersection improvement at 196 Main Street and Canal Street. I believe we discussed this, but it's lane shifts, signal upgrades, ADA accessibility upgrades. And then there was 2 separate projects on 125 for Main Street, from 196 to Houston Street, and then from Houston Street to the Urban Compact Line. The Houston Street to Urban Compact Line seems to be the most likely project to proceed on the tentative schedule that DOT has, which I believe is, oh, we had so many dates now. Let me look. I believe it was 17. Advertised in 17. So that would be construction 17, 18 timeframe. We also found that the Mill Street Bridge, we learned in the last couple of weeks, the Mill Street Bridge is in the work plan to be replaced, I believe, in the 17, 18 timeframe as well. Still waiting to get some definitive dates and whatnot from DOT, but once we have that, we'll share it. So, because the road projects, we'll be discussing matching funds based on how the funding works. Those projects will be 10% matches because they're funneled through the ATRC. The Maine Turnpike Authority was here, I guess technically it's still September. They're doing a signage replacement on the turnpike, and I already got feedback from the department heads. I suspect I'll get some more feedback from you folks, but I just wanted to touch base. They have proposed to include new signs south of Lewiston as you're headed north, indicating that the next 2 exits are Lisbon exits. The Lewiston exit, what is that, 80, would say that it's Lewiston and Lisbon, which is what it says currently, but then you go up to the Sabattis exit, and it would say now Sabattis and Litchfield. Currently, it says Sabattis and Lisbon. And they were looking for feedback on whether, what we thought of that, I guess. They felt that most of the traffic headed north probably gets off at Lewiston. Personally, I thought I was the only one that went all the way to Sabattis, but after sitting through the department head meeting, it sounds like that's a preferred route for most. So based on the feedback, we were going to recommend that they leave that as Lisbon, Sabattis. Not to slight Litchfield, but that may be a more appropriate advertisement for us. Southbound, there's really no changes other than, which I don't think it said anyway. Southbound, it did not mention at the Lewiston exit, that was just Lewiston and Auburn, that it was Lisbon and Sabattis headed south. The Androscoggin River Trail, the slope along the 196 edge, that is scheduled to be completed by middle of November. Maine DOT is funding the vast majority of that repair through a funding that was separate from the trail project. It is still going through St. Lawrence Sun because basically it's work that's necessary because of the trail, so they're the contractor that's still on board. Those contract modifications have been drafted and just waiting for signatures at this point. But that'll move forward. It'll involve removing the guardrail, running a curb against the vertical post of the guardrail, and then making improvements to where there will be cutouts in the curb for the water to go down a riprap downspout. And I guess the last thing I'd like to talk about is the stormwater audit. We had September 22nd. We came through very well with that. We spent quite a bit of time in early September and throughout September doing trainings with all the crew, getting all our plans up to date. And we went through, and it went very well. We received a draft report, which we made some comments, and we'll wait till that's finalized to share that. But it's a few things that we need to still do, but all in all, it was a positive experience, I would say. Not what we dreaded originally. With that, if there's any questions on anything else, I'd be happy to ask. I know I'm here often, so I'm not sure what you guys like to be updated on.
I noticed that we've been down a trailer at the transfer station.
We have.
Explain.
At one point, we're not sure what happened. It's currently being evaluated by the insurance company's appraiser, but they were compacting trash in the building and came down to the mechanics to talk about a hydraulic leak, and mechanics said there's more than a hydraulic leak because the whole front of the trailer was basically had been ripped out of the floor. Not sure what the cause has been. We had one I guess dealer, for lack of a better term, come and look at it, and he recommended that we talk to the manufacturer. The manufacturer is out of business, so we've worked through right now we're working through the insurance company again. They sent out their appraiser. I did just receive an estimate from another vendor. It's about $20,000 worth of damage, or $20,000 to repair it. I haven't reviewed the whole estimate. I just got it today, but so that's been down for a month or so, 2 months, close to 2 months now, I guess. And like I said, we're working through the insurance company process right now, and I guess Diane might have an update on that.
We do. We got the update today, and they're not going to cover it.
Insurance won't cover it.
Insurance
We have
won't
to
cover
go
it.
out,
No.
for another trailer, or whatever. I would recommend us seeing what Lewiston and Auburn, our bigger towns use, not the smaller one.
We didn't, that one, we intentionally wrote a specification for the one that we just purchased.
Right.
That made sure we didn't get a similar product, because we've not had, it's my understanding that we have not had good luck with that product since we received it. So we made sure when we went out this last time that we received
You
something.
specified what you wanted.
Yep, we spent more. I mean, the last one, but
Finding out the cheapest ain't always the best.
at this point, what we're gonna have into the repair, we could have already bought the better trailer to begin
Right.
with, so.
So we're gonna take some movements to rectify that situation soon, because, if we only have one trash trailer, if something happens to that one, then we have no way to get garbage out of town other than a dump truck.
Yep.
Okay, I'd just like to see us get on that, do something quickly about it.
Absolutely, that's what we do.
Anything else? See none. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Thank you.
The next item, please.
Is there, under appointments, order 2015-302, the cemetery committee member? Oh, we just jumped too many.
Yeah, we just jumped one.
Oh, there is that tab. Audience participation and response for new items.
Open the floor for audience participation. Mr. Bowie.
Mike Bowie, 282 Main Street, Lisbon Falls. First of all, I just want to thank you guys for listening to the citizens tonight and taking the time to step back and go about this in a more prudent way. I might suggest that you involve some citizens or some businesses as part of your committee review when you go through all that. And the last thing I'd like to say is I recommend that we look at the charter for how we appropriate from undesignated. Make sure you follow all of the right options and criteria for where you don't have money and just trying to supplement funds.
Thank you. Anybody else? Don. Oh, go ahead, Chief.
Be real quick. Again, thank you for this evening, but Councilor Lunt will remember this, and some of the past councilors that are in the room this evening will remember this. It was 4 years ago, in that chair right there, Councilor Gina Mason said that because of the communications issues that were going on and the battles that were going on, Councilor Gina Mason said that Lisbon needed to reach out to their neighbors and help them. And we got the grant, we built the state-of-the-art comm center, and we brought in Sabattis, Durham, and Green. Now I need to do damage control for those communities because there's been lack of information to them. They're up in the air as to what's going on. The sheriff has approached every one of them and indicated to them that Lisbon was going to the county, so they would be coming too. So beginning tomorrow, for your knowledge, I will be touching base with all three towns, letting them know that we are still in the communications business, and we will be sitting down to negotiate renewed contracts because two of those communities, their contracts expire December 31st. We've got to get this done ASAP. Just making you aware. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Don?
Just a brief comment. Back a couple of years ago, we developed a master plan for the town, and prior to doing that, we had done some ordinance work. I know the planning board was a little bit involved, if not totally involved, and one of those was a streetlight ordinance. And the streetlight ordinance, chapter 46, addresses any placement of lights and things like that, should you want to do that in the future. If it wasn't consulted and if the town engineer or public works director was not involved in the process, it directs that he be involved. So the idea was back in 2008 and 2009, we were worried about saving money. The advisory board at the time was looking at the street light bills and talking about how we could bring them down, and the town engineer and the town manager went around and looked at all these excess lights, and that was the product of that. So I suggest that even though we may be tempted to do other things at times, that we follow those plans. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Ward.
Alan Ward, Plummer Street. I'd like to just second what Mr. Bowie said about the undesignated fund balance. Our ordinance states that we're to keep 12.5% on hand, and as of the fiscal 2014 budget, you are underfunded. Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else? Dot?
Dot Fitzgerald, Lisbon Falls. I've heard 2 or 3 comments about undesignated fund balance. We need a new roofing on the town office building. That was not addressed in the last budget. In the September 15th council meeting, the town councilors, all of you voted $833 a month health insurance as an incentive for employees that have been here 35 years or more. And I'm not sure if it was that meeting or a previous meeting, talking about the school department budget and how the school department has excessive spending, et cetera, et cetera. I won't go into all details, but Dylan Pesey, you mentioned that a lot of people are struggling to pay their taxes, medical insurance, prescriptions, and you personally said that you have personally paid some people's prescription.
I didn't say prescription.
Hum?
I didn't say prescription. I said I have paid for some people. I didn't say what I paid for.
Okay, well, you said you've paid for some people, and yet I don't know where you're planning on getting this money. To me, this is irresponsible. These people have been loyal employees of the town for years. They've got almost yearly raises. They've had longevity raises. They'll be getting their MMA retirement benefits. It's just, this is fiscally irresponsible. I don't know how many employees that would be involved in this, but this translates to almost $10,000 a year for each and every employee that will be benefiting from this. Where's the money coming from? Undesignated balance?
Thank you. Anybody else? Mr. Moore.
I also want to thank the board for making what I thought is a good, right decision tonight. And I vote for orange for the group.
Very good. All right. I'll wrap it up, bring it back to the council. Does anybody have anything for a response? Nope. I don't have really anything to respond either. I'll just thank everybody for coming and sharing their opinion. Mr. Ward, you are right on the undesignated fund balance. It has been down for a long time. The council used the undesignated fund balance in the past to offset taxes, which when I know Mr. Bowie was on the council and I was sitting in the audience, he was harping on not using that so much and weaning the town off it. 2 years ago, the council made a big change, and Councilor Ward was with us at that point, and we said we're not going to use the undesignated fund balance because it continues to go down and we need to put money back into it. So that's why the council has not used it for the past 2 years, and last year we put money back into the undesignated fund balance, and I think you will find when the audit is done this year, a substantial amount will probably be going back into undesignated fund balance this year to help grow that amount, because you are right, we do have an ordinance and we got to get there somehow to make sure we have it funded securely for the town. And what was the last thing I had? And Dot, regarding the health insurance incentive, with any sort of incentive for retirement, if someone wants to retire or a restructure, it typically is to save money. When the council went through the process in looking at offering an incentive for someone that would want to retire, we talked about saving money and how we could save money, and if it is enacted and people do take it, restructuring could happen within departments to save it, to pay for it, to produce savings at the end of the day. So we're not taking from designated fund balance to pay for this. If those eligible employees decide to take it, it'll be paid for through the regular budget. With that being said, move on to the next item, please.
Appointments, Order 2015-302, the Cemetery Committee member.
In our packet,
David Mailhot.
what was that?
I think his name is David Mailhot.
Correct. Yep. Page 76, we have one member that's applied for the cemetery committee. Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion for David Mailot.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Order 2015-303, the Library Governing Board member resignation, Jessica Meakin.
In our packet, we have the resignation as due to our husband taking a position within the Children's Library. I don't know if she's here or not, but if she is, I appreciate her service to the town of Lisbon, and definitely be some shoes to fill on the governing board. Open the floor for a motion.
I'll make,
We have a motion from Councilor Garrison, second from Councilor Bickford. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
And the next item, please.
Council communications?
Anyone have anything? See none. I have a couple of things here. Regarding the firing range committee that we had talked about establishing, we're just waiting on that Fish and Game group to meet, and they're going to agree to send us certain names of people they want to have on the committee. So as soon as they submit those names to the town manager's office, we'll we'll establish a committee, and with those names, and involve public safety and a couple members of the community to move that forward. The clerk has indicated that she would like to know if the council wants to set a meet the candidates form before the November election. If we want to do that, we should probably do that this evening to set it, so it'll be enough time for advertisement and to make sure everybody will be involved. So I don't know if the council wants to set that, and if so, does anyone want to propose a date, or does Twyla have?
when do you want it?
You could do it before your next council
That's
meeting,
what I
which is
was thinking.
typically what you would do on the 20th.
Like an hour before, right?
Yeah, where you have a large number of candidates, you might want to start a little earlier, maybe 5:30 instead of 6, to allow enough time.
Okay.
Or you could choose a different night on your own, like another Tuesday after on the 27th or something.
I think the 20th would work good.
Yeah.
Someone want to make a motion to?
I'll make the motion that we have a candidates night on October 20th at 6.
5:30?
5:30.
Okay. Do a second to the motion?
Second.
All right. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
All right.
Can I?
Yes.
About the committee for the Fish and Game, I believe there's gonna be a warden for, the Fish and Game is gonna ask the warden to be on board with that.
Oh, good.
Because one of the members knows him real well, and thinks he would like to be there.
Very good. Thank you, Roger.
So,
Be a good asset. All right, move on to the next item, please.
Executive session, order 2015-3045 and 305A, to go into executive session per 1 MRSA, section 405-6C, acquisition or disposition of real property or economic development, section 405-6E, consultations with legal counsel, and section 405-6A, personnel matter.
Open the floor for a motion.
make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? There's possible for a vote or votes to follow. All those in favor?
Order passed, 7-0. Are you meeting in here?
We'll be staying in here.
All right. Turn everything off.
Pass it down to Dylan.
Signatures from Dylan.
Hey, Mike.
Nice to see you, Lisa. How are you? I'm good. Yeah, it's hot as hell here, ain't it? I was like, wow. Somebody turn the AC on. It's going good. How's everything with you? Yes, it does.